In today's video, I'm going to address if lymphedema is reversible, and if it is, in what types of cases. Hey folks, it's Melissa here. Welcome to my channel. If you are tuning in, I hope you will subscribe for the first time ever. For many of you who are my subscribers or watch a lot of my videos, you know one of my specialties as a naturopathic doctor is lymphatic drainage therapy. I'm a certified lymph therapist. And today I actually want to address a question that was texted to me by Megan Hernandez. So hi Megan, I'm so glad you sent me this text because I know that there are a lot of questions that I kind of assume that people already know the answers to, and sometimes that isn't the case, like this one. So I want to read to you what Megan asked me, and I think this will probably help many people. What she said is, with the research that I've done, they say it's sometimes reversible, it being lymphedema. Is it true? So is lymphedema reversible, Megan? Well, there's many different kind of stages of lymphedema and factors. There's two kind of core types. There's primary, folks that are genetically born with lymphedema. And I work with mother-daughter pairs that have lymphedema, and it's a genetic passed on trait. And then the second one is what we call secondary lymphedema, is something that tends to occur to many people for a lot of different reasons. I'll tell you some of the top patient profiles that come to me with secondary lymphedema. They are breast cancer survivors, any type of cancer survivor that lymph nodes, one or multiple lymph nodes were removed, folks with vascular insufficiency or a history of blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, and even some of my chemo patients that might not have had lymph nodes or surgery for removal, but they're on medication like tamoxifen that can sometimes lead to lymphedema. Other folks have actually had lymphedema kick off from an accident, a surgery. A lot of my lower extremity, so there's two, we kind of say upper extremity is like belly button up. So arms are upper extremity, neck, head, chest, that's upper extremity. Lower extremity tends to be belly button down, particularly legs. Lower limb extremity, legs, ankles, the knees, the upper and lower part of the actual calf. Folks that I've seen have come to me after a spider bite. A lot of vascular insufficiency where sometimes their skin is like a reddish kind of rusty color where it's almost like the blood's not moving, and in fact it's actually dried, or not dried, but red blood cells that are in excess, that because the veins are not moving, there's vascular insufficiency, veins are not pushing the blood up, that pours out into lymphatics and it causes lymphedema. So there are a lot of different causes, but there are different phases or staging. And so one of the things that myself and many other certified lymphatic therapists have been trained on is the lymphedema staging. And it often is an area where it's really challenging to actually get staged and diagnosed. There's no true lymphedema specialist. Like there isn't just a doctor you go see that addresses lymphedema. There's an assortment of doctors that sometimes have some specialty or some understanding that can get you there. A lot of vascular surgeons tend to, or vascular docs, will recognize it in the lower extremities. Your oncology doctors and radiation oncologists, they recognize it because of the nature of oncology-related lymphedema. But going back to the stages, there's 4 stages. Actual first stage is not even called a stage. It's called latency stage, and it's something that can be really challenging to get diagnosed. The latency phase is a unique phase. That is definitely a reversible phase. It often is, I see it a lot in the cases of my breast cancer patient. This is considered a pre-stage. They're considered at risk. And those are cases where they haven't gotten to a stage 1, but sometimes they might get some of that experience where it swells a little bit here and there. Nothing major, nothing on a consistent basis, but management and prevention is going to be crucial. Any type of lymph node removal in the body would put you in this type of stage, the latency stage, stage 0, if you will. Stage 0, you want to manage your air travel appropriately to minimize lymphedema development. That's another situation where I have folks that they had surgery and lymph nodes removed, breast cancer, whatever, a gallbladder taken out, and all of a sudden they went on an airplane on a trip, they came back, they have stage 1 lymphedema. And what is most important is wearing compression stockings on your air travel, staying really well hydrated, getting magnesium in your body so you're flushing, drinking ginger tea to flush all the lymphatics, get those moving, manage your stress levels, and then also look at dry skin brushing. There's a guide here. I hope you'll check it out. Please download it. It's free. It tells you how to do dry skin brushing. This is great for all of the stages, but particularly that latency, stage 0, stage 1, 2, and 3. So there's really 4 stages. I hope you'll check that out. Stage 1 is actually the reversible stage. That's where the edema, or we call it pitting, but the edema is soft. So it's squishy, it doesn't feel firm, it hasn't turned fibrous. There's no secondary tissue changes. The actual texture of the limb or the arm or the extremity is still intact. Stage 1 is the most important stage to address in management and maintenance and preventative type of treatments. And if an individual has stage 1 lymphedema and they don't manage it, guarantee they can move into stage 2 or phase 2. And that staging in phase 2 is irreversible. And generally stage 1, if elevation reduces your swelling, that is where we kind of categorize stage 1. That is reversible, and management is something that I create specialized plans for everybody. So it's something you want to do. Check out that phone app. I think many of you have watched. I use Instant Go, and I'll put a link down below, but it's a real quick, easy way. If you are dealing with anything at home and you want me to be a resource, you can text me questions, you can, we can schedule a phone call, we can do video chat, whatever. Stage 2 is what we call spontaneously irreversible staging. So unlike stage 1, there is more of a fibrotic nature to the actual limb. So it's tighter, tougher skin. Sometimes people get more frequent infections. Cellulitis is a big one. So stage 2, that kind of quick redness, stress will trigger the cellulitis. Stage 3 is what we call lymphostatic elephantitis. That tends to be where folks are holding way more fluid in an extremity. You're gonna know if you're in stage 3 if your limb or extremity, one part of it is bigger than the other part, much bigger. There's no facetiousness in my communication that an arm, a leg, an ankle, a foot, a wrist can hold pounds of water fluid, lymphatic fluid. I'm not kidding you. I have some individuals, when we actually do the measurements, they're holding 60, 80 pounds of fluid in an extremity. Stage 3 is where we see an increase in the volume and tissue changes with regard to that swelling. Sometimes there are deep folds with particularly the lower extremities, you get more of those folds. But in the folds, we will find that the tissue is actually, we call it fibrotic. It gets really tough and tight. There's sometimes papillomas, like little kind of little bubble, kind of like the best way to describe it, it's like a kind of a raised nodule that pops up. And sometimes they're 2 centimeters, sometimes they're a little bit wider than that. It depends on the severity and location. And stage 3 is something where skincare becomes really crucial to minimize that textural change and then the seeping of the fluid. So Megan, I hope this was helpful, and thank you again for shedding light on this great question. And for those of you sitting at home watching this video, if this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. And I'm curious, tell me a little bit about your lymphedema, if you feel comfortable. You know, in the description below, let me know how it's affecting you and what other questions you might have, because I promise you, I do pick up a lot of questions in my description for future videos. So I am so grateful for your time today, and I want to let you know that I will always be a resource for you as you manage your lymphedema. And if you ever feel like you need any type of additional outside resources or a phone consult or a Skype session, a video session, I'm here to do that with you, because I know it's so hard to find people who understand the staging and understand the diagnosis and the treatment. So it's really important that I'm here for you. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.